In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I made my sardine rolls. So this is me chopping my green beans. I had green beans and also chopped my carrots. Yeah, I had to chop the carrots very well. And after then I chopped my pepper. You can blend it, you can, but I like chopping my pepper. I chopped my pepper and also, my ginger and garlic. You can blend them into a paste. But my onion too, just finished chopping my onions and trying to put it in a plate. So after all of that, when all my ingredients were ready, I went to lit up my gas. I'm going to be using 2 sardines, and these are the ingredients I'm using: flour, green beans, margarine. You can use butter, onion, curry powder, nutmeg. So I used the oil from the sardine to, make my filling. So after doing that, the oil was too much, so I had to reduce it. You see me, this was much for a 750 grams of flour. So I reduced it to this. Now this is what you're seeing. This is the reduced, part of it. So I added my onion, saute it for a while. Then I'll be adding so I had to, that's my ginger and garlic paste. Then I'll be adding, I had to stir it for a while, for a few seconds. Then I added my pepper, added my seasoning cube, added my ginger, my curry, and nutmeg powder, and I tried to marry them together. Then that's all in the sardine oil. Then I added my chopped carrots. Yes, added my chopped carrots. Then I added the green beans. So you can actually do this either for breakfast. Then I'm now adding the sardine itself. Yes, it is the sardine oil I'm using, not vegetable oil. Sardine is oily already. Then I used 2 packs of sardine. So I added the first one, I added the second one. So I'm going to mash this till it is like, it will not be, you won't really feel the fish is this big. Yeah. So I allowed it to stay a little long on the heat. And at this point, I had mashed them. Look at the texture. And I added little water. And this is just good. Then this is flour I'm adding for thickening. Yeah, you can use corn flour, you can use all-purpose flour, but this is all-purpose flour that I used. And just allow it to boil for a minute or so, and I'll put it down. I'll put off the heat. Yes, this was very delicious. You can also use this for rice. So this is making my dough. I just poured in my flour into my mixing bowl, added seasoning to it, and I added salt, and I added my margarine. You can also use butter, trying to have a breadcrumb like texture. That's what I'm using my hand to do. Then I added my eggs. I used 2 eggs for this recipe, and I needed to mix them still. I needed that breadcrumb like texture. Then after doing this, I used milk instead of water. So you can use water, but I used milk. You don't need too much of liquid. So I used 1 tin of pig milk, as you can see in this video. And you don't need to, as in, it's not kneading. It's just putting them together in a very soft way. So I had to pour it out to my work surface. That's on my table, on your cabinet or whatever. So see, I'm not kneading it. I'm just putting them together. That way, because if you need it, you're going to have the gluten being really, really active, and it's going to be stretchy. And that's not what you want. It is a savory, snack. It's not sugary. You don't need that gluten to be activated. There was the NEPA BPHED took the light, so they just brought it back. So after this, I had to go put the dough in the freezer for a few minutes while now greasing my pan. You can see that I'm greasing my baking pan with margarine, and you can spray cooking oil on it. So after greasing my baking pan with margarine, I'm going to be lining it with parchment paper. That's my baking paper, cutting it to the size of this pan. So I'd finished greasing my pan. Now I am lining it with my parchment paper. Yes, that's what you're seeing me doing here. Lining it with my parchment paper, and I'll have to cut it to the shape. Yes, nothing should be wasted. So when I do this, I'll set it aside. Then I'll go bring back that my dough, make sure it is well lined, and I'll set it aside, and I'll put every tool that I will need. This is so I'm going to be separating my egg yolk from my egg white. The egg yolk is going to be used for egg brushing, while my egg white will be used for sealing. You can as well use water, but I choose to use egg white for sealing of my rolls. So I've separated the egg yolk from the egg white, as you can see. So I needed to whisk the egg yolk for it to be for it to really mix together. Then after this, I will set it aside, then get my dough from the freezer. It's just for a few minutes. I don't think it stayed up to Now the dough is out of the freezer. I have my rolling pin here, and I have the filling that I made initially. The filling I made with the sardine oil and sardine itself. So I'm going to be measuring this out, because I don't want any of the the rolls to be bigger than another. Yes, I sell chicken roll. There's a snack I do. It's my signature snack that I call chicken roll. So as you all know, if you don't know, I'm a baker by profession, by God's grace. So I make sure that even if I'm making bread for the house, I make sure that as a baker, you like measuring your whether it is bread, your dough, or your batter, making sure that every one of them are at their right proportion and quantity. So I had to this is me making sure, scaling, weighing, measuring the dough, so that every one of them would be the pastry, so that every one of them would be the same size. Me, I don't like cheating somebody. So beautiful people, if you are new to my channel, please subscribe, like this video, comment, and you can share it. You can also save it for future reference. You can try this. This was actually what I did for my children, for my family. We had this with tea for breakfast. So by this time I was making this was, I think, either 3:30 a.m. or thereabouts. I didn't really check the time, but it was not so early in the morning. So I will roll out my pastry, then I will now, scoop the filling into it. That's why it's called sardine rolls. I just felt I have sardine in the house, and we need something, not bread all the time. So after rolling, that's the egg white I'm using to, I applied it at the edge so that I can, when I roll it, it will help me seal it, stick them together. So after doing this, I saw that it was very long. I used my pizza cutter and I cut it into two. I'm going to be using the fork to seal each of the edges. Yes, I'm going to be using the fork to seal each of the edges, and that will be it. Yes. even with my eye gauge, I know that they are, excuse me, almost the same size. So this is called my sardine rolls. Yeah, I just felt because I had sardine in the house, and I just want my children to have a different feel. So this is what I did to all of the pastry that I cut out, that I had measured initially, as you can see in this video. You don't need to, so much stress on, so much pressure, on the pastry. Not so much pressure. Just roll it out. You can scoop more of the filling depending on how you want the inside. When you're eating it, if you want to chew the fish, I actually, mash my sardine roll, you might not want to do it like me. You might want, the sardine to be chewed. You want to feel it by yourself, as in while eating it. So, but me, I didn't want to have that feeling. So I decided to, mash it like a minced meat. So I did this to all of the pastry, and I'll be baking it in the oven. So for almost all of them, I cut them into two because they were long. By this time, NEPA don't take light too, Niger. So I was done with, rolling them out. This is how they look. So beautiful. So this is time for egg washing. So the egg yolk that I was trying to whisk and mix together for it to separate, this is when I was now applying it before putting it into the oven. So this helps it to, become golden brown, smooth on the surface, and it also makes it a little bit crunchy. Yes. You know that our meat pie, is any baked product that is like this. Hey, NEPA, they don't bring light back. So after doing this, I was using fork to poke each of them so that as they are rising in the oven, they will not burst, or will not have a bloated, tummy of sardine rolls, so that the heat can also pass out, as it rising. No, not rising because I added a rising agent, but because, because of heat, it will want to swell up, so that it would not just swell up anyhow. It would have passed through those pokes that I did. So I just put it into the oven, and for like 35 to 40 minutes, I came back to check if it was ready, but it was almost ready. Not yet ready. Just look at this beauty. Oh my God. So it is ready now, and I'm bringing the beautiful sardine rolls from the oven. Wow. This was delicious. And I hope you will try out this recipe. It's easy, it's simple to make. You don't need so much ingredients. They are just what you have in the house, what you always have at home. You just pick it and do. Sometimes you just create things, and your family have a different taste from the regular. So look at how beautiful this is looking. The taste was out of this world. Let me show you how the inside looks. Look at how beautiful. So now just check. Negodu. Imagine Senangaba. Just look at how beautiful, oh my God, how fishy the feeling and the inside, how it looks. So that's guy. Please like, subscribe, and follow for more. Bye.